Hello and welcome back to Desert DIY. If you are new here, my name is Corey. Today I'm going to be doing a trash to treasure with this curbside find. It is a really sturdy bench that had good bones and just needed to be made over. So I am going to give this thing a whole new look and it's going to be super bright and happy. Here's a quick look of how I found it on the curb. And if you like trash to treasures and curbside finds and furniture flips, then please hit subscribe and support my channel. I am trying to hit my goal of 50,000 subscribers before the end of the year. The first thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and sand this with some 220 grit. It seems like it had been outside, like it was an outside bench, so the paint was chipping, the wood was really dried up, and the corners were very frayed, like maybe they had been chewed up by a dog or just got roughed up somehow. So I made sure to sand those areas really nice and smooth. I didn't worry too much about the top of the bench where the seat part is because I already knew that I was going to be recovering it with some padding and fabric. Recently, I have decided that I want to start a charity. I'm not really sure how to start one, but I want to. It's in my heart, so I'm going to try my best. But I'm going to be donating all of my pieces to young adults who are aging out of foster care to help them create a home, I guess, and this is going to be one of those pieces. Today I'm going to be collaborating with a really amazing YouTuber and furniture flipper. Her name is Christina Mascari of Pretty Distressed, and I will have her link in the description box of my video. But she is going to be making over that white dresser that you see here in this picture, and she's going to be stripping it back down to bare wood, and it's going to be amazing. Look at the things that she's done before. She is like a huge role model for me and has taught me so much. So please go check out her channel after mine. So I found this fabric in my stash of leftover fabrics, and I knew already that I wanted to do this bench project in yellow. I don't know why, I just knew. And this piece has some yellow in it, so I'm going to go and pick out a yellow that will be super bright, but also complementary to the yellows and greens in this piece. So I got to the store and then realized that I forgot my wallet. So it was a good thing I figured that out before I even got out of the car. Imagine having them mix me the paint and then go to pay and I don't have any money. Here's a quick look at how I chose the colors. I ended up choosing the one called the Bright Side, and it was the top left lighter yellow color. And I went home and cleaned up my piece before starting. Here's that color that I chose, the top one right there. There were really good colors, and it was actually really hard to choose. One of the young men that worked at the hardware store was trying to help me pick colors, but it's kind of a girly project, so once he saw the fabric, he was like, I'm not sure which one. He was just trying to be polite. But he did give me some color ideas for doing pieces for young men, since he was a young man. And he said that young men are very into like the dark colors, like the dark blues and the dark greens and dark grays. So I'm going to be keeping that in mind for a desk project I have coming up in the future that I'm going to be making specifically masculine, I guess. A girl could still like it or use it, but I'm going to make it to be a little bit more masculine than my normal projects are. A lot of times I make pretty girly things, so I want to make sure that I have some things for the male population that is aging out of foster care. It took me about 3.5 coats. This was after the second coat. You can see there's still some shadowing areas where that dark purple and dark green is popping through. I could have used primer, yes, but I wanted to be more cost effective and just used up all that yellow paint I got in the little can. It was just a sample can. And now I'm going to go ahead and start ironing that fabric while I'm waiting for the paint to dry, and then I'll do kind of a touch-up paint after I'm done applying the padding of the seat, and you'll see that later. I got some foam padding from Walmart, and it was just enough to do about 2 layers of padding, which turned that 1-inch layer of foam into a 2-inch layer of foam, which was very, very comfortable when I sat on it. I'm going to go ahead and cut it once I have glued it on, and I'll just use a razor blade, and this is the type of glue I like to use when doing padding. It's Loctite spray adhesive, and it has like a really good high initial tack, I guess is what it's called, but what that means is when you first use it, it gets sticky right away, like really, really sticky, so that way you don't have to wait for it to dry in order for it to work and hold what you're working on. And you'll see I barely even have to push it down to get the padding to stick to it. The reason that I glue the padding down is so that it doesn't move or slide when I am pulling the fabric tight over top of it. This is something that I've just learned from experience in making mistakes, and before I would just set it on there and start applying the fabric, and when I'd go to pull the fabric tight, the padding would move along with it. So that is something that I got super frustrated with and decided to start gluing it down. I am in the market for a new staple gun that is easy to use, that is not so hard to squeeze because my hands are very weak and shaky, and you'll see I have a really hard time. That's too funny. I swear that's the kind of luck that I always have where I'm like super into a project. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. And then I go to start and I'm out of staples. But I'm not gonna lose my momentum. Okay, back at it, huh? Like I was saying on this project, the stapler really gave me a run for my money. I'm out of breath already. All the different angles on this piece gave me quite the challenge, and it was something I was still up to do, of course. I'm not just gonna give up because I've never done it before. but it definitely did take some experimenting to figure out how to get the fabric to lay nicely on these edges. Time for that touch-up coat that I was talking about. So this is the half of the 3.5 that I said earlier. But all I did was go over and hit the spots that I either missed somehow or were still showing some spots from the previous paint color. And this is what it turned out to look like. That's my girl Piper right there. I thought it was missing something. I needed something a little bit more whimsical and happy, and also to bring more yellow to the fabric, because I felt like the yellow on the bottom was still kind of disconnected from the yellow in the fabric. So I went on Amazon and bought some of these like pom-pom ribbons or edging, and it was the perfect thing. I can't even believe how perfect it looked when I was done. It was exactly the feeling that I wanted this piece to have. It was just fun and exciting and happy. And I will link them in my Amazon store, which will be linked in my description box. So if you want some of these pom-poms, they were like $9 for like a crazy amount, like 9 yards of it. If you were to get it from Joann's, it would be like $4.99 a yard. So this was a really good deal. And they had a lot of different colors too. I loved it. I also just used hot glue, and I will link Gorilla Glue in my Amazon store for you. Here is what it looked like in the beginning, just to kind of remind you of where we started. And this is how it turned out in the end. Look at how happy it looks. I can't believe how that pom-poms just really made the whole piece. All the other work I did, and the pom-poms are the star, and I love it. I couldn't be any more happy with it. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked what you saw, then don't forget to hit subscribe, and that way you don't miss out on my future projects. And thank you again so much for always supporting my channel, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to click on the link to check out Christina Mascari after my video.